Howdy y'all, Brother Damon Chief Jones here. Thought I'd come to you and bring you some information that y'all may have already known, but several people have asked, so if a few asked, there's probably a lot that don't know. Write this down. 1st, 3rd, 5th, 7th, 9th, and 11th Circuit all have equivalent decisions to Turner versus Driver. I gotta think Texas is in the 5th, I think. Wait a minute, I might be mixed up. I usually look at my little map because there's 13 federal appeals courts, and there's so much states or parts of states that's in a district. The 3rd district in July the 7th, 2017, they were unanimous. That's good, unanimous. That your right to record police on duty in the scope of their employment. And it didn't put a limitation on it. So, going to the police department, in my professional opinion, as a law enforcement officer, the way I read this and interpret this, and I've actually asked some bar card lawyers with years and years of experience, not a newbie, and they read it the same way. I don't know how much I would trust a rookie attorney, especially one that's losing cases. But anyway, you know, somewhere around the 2 to probably 5 year mark, they probably know a little something. But the attorneys I'm talking to has got 20 or 30 years. I mean, they're seasoned. And they say, so if you go to the police department and you decide to film, which we know this, but it's good to know it also from somebody else besides me that I've talked to, says, yeah, I'm right. And it would be a good interpretation. Although we wouldn't want that to be maybe, I'm just saying, let's just ask the chief somewhere right now, and we don't really want them, quote, filming our operations and learning what we do and don't do for some possible thing they might do in the future. So many years ago, I was sold on that concept. Well, we don't want people taking pictures in restricted areas or videotaping in restricted areas. That was long, long ago. There wasn't that much of it, and we really didn't interfere with nobody doing it. We didn't like it because we said they may be using this to plot an attack against us or against other people, because there's a certain amount of haters out there. And simply, if you was a man or a woman standing around anywhere else, people would neither like you nor dislike you. But the exact same people see you in a uniform, it automatically elevates the hate, because they associate you with everybody that wears a uniform, and everybody wears a uniform isn't the same man or woman. That's like saying, well, everybody that's handicapped is blase blase. Everybody of a certain religion is whatever, or a certain color or national origin. You just can't group people together. But I want y'all to know that in half, well, technically there's 13 district courts, if you include the one at Washington, D.C. that's for Federal City, D.C. But in the rest of the country, there's 12. And the ones I named off, they all agree, and they're all equivalent to Turner versus Driver, and the 3rd was July the 7th, 2017. And unanimous. And so basically, half of the country is now covered by a federal district ruling that you got this right. So to when and if it rises all the way up to the Supreme Court, and, you know, it's been said that, you know, there's a 90% chance that they're going to rule that you can't have half the country ruling this away. And they're ruling on the First Amendment, saying that you have an expressive, and they're using this word expressive right that a journalist, a photojournalist, a layman, citizen journalist, any man or woman that's going out to record this information, to distribute it, publish it to people of the public, is press. Whether they're paid or they're volunteer, whether they got 2 subscribers to their electronic newspaper or print newspaper, or they got 10 million, it's irrelevant. Kind of like the religious litmus test. Back in the 70s, they said, I think it was a Supreme Court decision in 72, I had to look it up. But they basically said, look, if a religion, for example, like the Catholic religion that's been around since forever, and then you got this ABC religion that's 200 years old, they can't give no more weight to a 2 or 1,000-year-old church versus one that's 200 years old, or one that started yesterday. They all have the same equal rights. They got the same privileges, if you like, beyond rights. This customs and usage or whatever it may be. The courts were very explicit about that. Well, the same thing is on the media. So if I go out there and I'm a guy that's been engaged in media for maybe 15 months, basically, the way I think about it, and the way most people think about it these days, I've got 15 months. Now, whether I belong to the Washington Post, the Miami Herald, LA Times, Dallas Morning News, Herald Chronicle, or whatever it might be, I have the exact same rights as a full-time journalist that's paid by one of these papers. Sometimes they call themselves a reporter, sometimes a journalist. That those terms are used interchangeably on a regular basis. Wow, the sun's coming out really good here. Down in Florida, the sun's shining, which is where I'm at. Anyway, go look this up, and I'm going to try over the weekend to get the exact titles to these specific cases. Like in the third, I believe it was Fields versus Philadelphia. I think that's right, but don't quote me on it. I have to look it back up. So, say like Turner's case, for example. I think Texas, Louisiana, and I think there's one more state that's in that district. So it's a few states. Then you got Florida, Georgia, and Alabama that's in a specific district. I want to think Alaska's in that district too, but I can't really remember. And the third, I think they also take care of Puerto Rico or the Virgin Islands. Anyway, I have to go back and look. So I'm doing this off the top of my head, so you get the basic concept. And so many people have asked, and I said, look, it's going to take some time to look up these exact things. So these are equivalents. And some of them have gone to great lengths to say just how far this goes. So if you are in a police department, they don't have no right to say you can't record. You can go right up in there. It's established laws in all of those districts. It's established. So that was a key component, was an established law, just like in Turner versus Driver. So Turner, when arrested by the police, is saying, hey, you can't do this, and he's explaining to them why. But they don't really get it, they don't really comprehend it, and they kind of twist it into something that's not there. So the courts are saying the police didn't have a clear concept, a clear understanding that the law was a little questionable to them, that they didn't understand it this way. So the court cleared it up and made it clearly established. So something being clearly established is way different. So basically they're saying now the police are on notice. So now if they do this in these districts, can be other states, but these districts are period. So if you go into the police department just like Pot, pissed off taxpayer, and they tell him, hey, you can't film in there, wrong. Don't matter what their in-house policy is. Their policy means the way we do it around here. Don't mean it's illegal, don't mean it's moral or ethical. Just means that's the way we do it. Okay? And like I say, you know, I didn't necessarily want unknown men or women poking around in the police department with cameras or videos. But there was really nothing I could do because they're in a public space and they're in a public building. So long as they don't block the doorways where people can come in and out, okay? You know, you just have to let people be able to get in and out. You can't run up and start harassing people. So let's just say if a gang or group, whatever you want to call them, if 5 people come in, their cameras and they're all over the place videotaping, well, you know, I wouldn't be like the most thrilled man in town. Oh gosh, I got all these people in here. Wonder if we're going to be on the evening news, we're going to be in the newspaper, but there's nothing I can do about it because it's their constitutional right. So from a retired chief of police point of view, I can see where law enforcement comes from 100%. And I've been asked by a lot of cops I know, hey, could you do this from a cop's point of view, as well as an activist or a constitutionalist, whatever you consider yourself? Sure. So I wouldn't be happy because they might, quote, make us look bad. But I'm the kind of guy that actually I've had student journalists from college newspapers or whatever, other people that's asking a lot of questions. And of course, normal human reaction is, why are you asking me all these questions? Because I've had people that just come up and ask questions. And I did the atypical cop thing and said, who are you? Where are you from? What's this for? That's not cop questions. Those are just normal everyday questions that say, if somebody come up to your house or they come up to you at the grocery store anywhere and start asking you questions, the normal human reaction is, who are you? Where are you? Now there's a difference because you got on a badge and you represent the people and you got on a gun. So from the public point of view, I don't want to tell you about me. And I'm not at work, and I'm not on the job, and I'm not a cop, and I'm not in uniform, and you are. So you're on the taxpayer funds. Your money's coming out of the public treasury that I pay into. So I get me or any cop ever saying, you know, who are you, where are you? Okay, so we all know the cops can ask the questions. That's where it stops. Just like me, if somebody said, well, I don't want to tell you who I am. Okay. You know, I can't make you tell me who you are. Is there something I should address you as Mr. Jones or Mr. Johnson or Mr. Brown? Just call me an inquiring mind. I've heard that before. Call me an inquiring mind. Okay, Mr. or Miss Inquiring Mind, how may I assist you? I don't need no assistance. I've had that happen. I don't need no assistance. I'm just here poking around. Okay, if you decide you need something, let me know. Elsewise, I'm going to go on about my way. And they say, okay. And I say, okay. And you know, I've always got this question mark in my mind. Are they going to try and twist around what I'm saying and make it something that's not true? Or are they going to show it for what it is? Because people can take a video and twist it around and make it something it is not. Now, video don't lie, but it don't show what happens sometimes beforehand or afterhand. It just gets a little slice of it. And then that gets it out of text. So, you know, Everybody's concerned about that, not just cops, anybody. But the point is, if you're going to swear in and be a cop, or you're a judge or a lawyer, you're under oath, and you're part of the public trust, and you betray that by forcing or abusing your authority in this public trust position to hound people, harass people, try and make them do things that they're not supposed to, that's just bad. I'll bring y'all more over the weekend, but I wanted to get y'all started 1st, 3rd, 5th, 7th, 9th, and 11th. Okay, that's half the country is covered by things that are equivalent to Turner versus Driver, and some of them go to an even greater extent and go more in depth about it. So like I say, I'll do a video this weekend on it. I got a guy that does patriotic pins. He does Christian pins, he does patriotic pins, and his link will be in this video. If I can't get it in the right away, I might have to wait till I get to a computer to get it added on, but it's there. If you want to buy custom handmade pins out of wood that are beautiful, he does great work. If you want to belong to Self-Defense Fund, www.selfdefensefund.com. And we've had some press releases and more coming out. C.J. Grisham with OCT, Open Carry Texas, he's done some really great work. Y'all might want to go check him out. I just don't know what else to say, but if you do Self-Defense Fund, if you'll do the promo code CHIEF or for CHIEF, they'll give me credit for that and keep me on the road doing what I do. I've had a lot of things come up the last 2 or 3 weeks, you know, family issues that I've had to take care of, so I've had to slow down. But looks like I'll be back on track over the weekend and back out doing my thing. If you can help me out, appreciate it. If you can't, that's okay. Do what you can, and what you can't, you can't. Thank you. God bless you, and have a great day. And y'all all be blessed. Bye-bye.